So this is my third year being a counselor at American Canyon High School, but I've been a counselor for 12 years total. That varies actually. Like some days it'll be super busy, and I think I'll probably see like up to 20 kids per day, like 4 or 5 kids per period. And there's some days I see no students. So it really varies. Towards the end of the school year, like right now, is the busiest. So I'm probably averaging probably about 20 to 25 kids a day. Not too many. I would say just in general, I probably have like out of the whole sophomore class, probably about 30 kids, I want to say, who like legit have issues with drugs or alcohol. There's a lot of students that, experiment and dabble with, marijuana or alcohol, but like who really do have a problem with it, about 30. It's hard because those students really are masking something else that's going on in their lives. Someone who is 15 years old and who is addicted to alcohol or addicted to marijuana or whatever, that's not normal. It's because they're dealing with something in their life that they're not able to really deal with. So instead of dealing with the core issue, they're getting high or getting drunk so that they don't have to feel those emotions. So it's hard. It's definitely hard working with youth who have addiction issues. First off, it's to make sure that they're safe. You know, there is a term in the counseling therapy world called harm reduction, and so it's not necessarily telling the kids like you need to stop, you need to stop drinking, you need to stop smoking. It's more, okay, what can we do to reduce your harm? Whether it's drinking, 12 cans of beer a day to 8 cans of beer a day, and just like going down a little bit slowly but surely, like that's the goal. And so when I'm working with students who have issues with drugs and alcohol, it's obviously, getting to that core issue, but then also learning how to reduce their harm. Sure. So, I mean, I've had a lot of students who have failed all of their classes because drugs and alcohol have been their priority instead of coming to school, instead of focusing on their academics. Not at this school, but at other schools like that I've worked at, there's been students who have left their school to go into like a drug treatment facility because their issue was like so severe. So yeah. So my advice is to talk to someone, to not live like in a vacuum, just like by yourself, and not express yourself to someone. If you don't have good friends that you think you could go to, obviously I'm here. There's actually drug and alcohol counselors that come to our campus specifically to work with kids with those types of issues that I don't think a lot of our student body is aware of. We have an outside provider that does those like groups and individual counseling. So my advice to them is to talk to someone, to really get at that core issue, because whatever the core issue, whatever that is, like once they kind of work through that problem, then their addiction will slowly go away. Absolutely. No. Yes, of course. I mean, that's why I'm here, right? I mean, I'm here for a lot of things, but I'm definitely here for, students to come and talk to me about that. But like I said, there are specialists, like you can go to school to be a drug and alcohol counselor. Like that's what people specialize in doing. So that isn't my area of expertise. So really, when a student comes and wants to talk about it, then I kind of know whether this is a severe issue or not a severe issue. And if it's a severe issue, then I refer them to the appropriate counselor who can really like dive into, helping them basically.
So I want to date back to 2013. I was 12 years old. I remember that night, my mother was sick with breast cancer that year. I remember that night laying in the bed with her. And I remember getting a phone call, and it was from my dad. And it was on her phone. So obviously I picked it up for her because I didn't want her to wake up. So when I picked up the phone, my dad was gone. He was gone at 11 o'clock at night. And I remember that day because I had school the next morning. It was a Sunday night. It was 11 o'clock at night. I answered my mom's phone. It was my dad. By that time, I didn't know really much about alcohol, but I could tell my dad was drunk. He was very intoxicated at that time. When I answered the phone, I said, Dad, hello, Dad. And all I heard was a woman's voice in the background. And I was shocked. I was like, what? Who is this? And I heard him say, he loves a woman. I was like, okay, well, and she said it back. So I remember just hanging up the phone in frustration and just laying in the pillow and just crying and holding my mom because I didn't know what to tell her. I didn't know if I should tell her. I didn't know if I should keep it to myself. I didn't know. So it was very emotional. And so 2 months later, it was my dad's birthday. And, you know, people, it's their birthday. They like to get drunk and everything and do whatever grown-ups do. So I remember that night, my mom, she went to the hospital that night because it was before Cinco de Mayo, May 4th. She went to the hospital that night, and I had to stay home with my dad while my sister went to the hospital, and it was his birthday, so he was in shambles. It looked as if he didn't care, and I was looking at him like, why wouldn't you go to the hospital with Mom? Why wouldn't you just have my sister come and watch me? And I remember him just pushing me aside and just going to the kitchen and rushing under the sink, under the cabinet, just grabbing a bottle and just opening it, just pouring himself a glass. It was a tall glass, it was a beer glass. And he just chugged it down, and he just kept going back for more and going back and going back and going back. And then I started to cry, and I got scared. I got so scared to where I ran upstairs. And when I ran upstairs, he was just calling my name. He was like, Chanel, Chanel, Chanel. I was scared. I hid in the bed. I turned off all the lights. I tried to call my sister, but it didn't work. She didn't answer the phone. And then I remember him coming upstairs, and he hit my door because I had a lock on my door. He hit my door, and he had a hole in my door. And I remember him hitting holes in my door, and then I got up, and I don't know why I got up. I should have never got up out of bed. I regret that. I regret getting up out of that bed towards this day. So I remember getting up and unlocking my door and opening it. And I remember him just grabbing me by my arms. And mind you, I'm 12 years old. I'm scared out of my mind. And he just grabbed me by my arms. He took me from my room. He took me to the top of the staircase, and he threw me down the staircase. He threw me down 18 steps. I remember hitting the staircase railing, and the staircase railing broke, and I got a slash on my ankle from that. And I was just sitting there crying, and I didn't know what to do. I didn't know whether to call out for somebody because it was just me at the house. I didn't know whether to get up, and I just laid there and I just cried. And I cried and I cried and I cried out for help. I was like, Dad, help me, please, please help me. Why would you throw me down the stairs, Dad? Why would you do this? And I remember him just coming down the stairs and just picking me up and telling me it's gonna be okay, you'll be fine. And I remember just bleeding out of my leg. And then I didn't tell my mom any of this. I'm 16 today, and I still haven't told my mom how I got this gash on my leg. She thinks I got it from, just riding something or anything, because That's what I just do. I just ride dirt bikes, and she just thought I got it from playing. But I really got it from my father throwing me down the steps. So that night, I was just scared out of my mind. I didn't know what to do. So I just waited for my mom to get back home. As I grow up, I see what alcohol does to you. And I see what it did to my dad. My dad has cheated on my mother while he's been intoxicated, while she has been sick. My dad has hit me. My dad has thrown me. He looks nice and innocent. He's really just not. Sometimes when I come to school, I don't want to go home because he drinks every single night. And since my mom is sick, she can't get up as much to fix me anything to eat. Well, I can't do nothing because either my dad is drunk and I'm upstairs because I'm just so scared to be downstairs. I'm just so scared to be around him sometimes. I know people have it hard, but it's hard having a parent that drinks. You know they care about you, but sometimes they don't show it as much. And it's hard going home every day. And I can't stay downstairs because I know that he's gonna drink and I know that he's gonna try to hurt me. I don't want my dad to hurt me, but I know that he's gonna hurt me. And everybody thinks I'm okay when I really just go home. And I have bruises on my back and I have bruises on the back of my legs. Sometimes I think my dad would really try to kill me, but I don't know. I'm too scared. I'm scared to stay downstairs. I'm scared to go with him anywhere. As I see my dad drink, I don't want to turn into him. I want to be better than him. Because right now, it hurts. I'm 16 years old. I'm trying my hardest. I have a job. I go to school. Take care of my mom. And I have to come home every single day and have to deal with this. My dad has been there for me, but he hasn't been there like he should. I don't like to put other people down. I like to stay positive as I can because people don't know my story. I know other people have a hard at home. People don't know my story. I've been taking care of people since I've been taking care of my mom since 2013. You're not supposed to take care of your mother at the age of 12. 5 to 6 years have been gone because I'm too scared. I'm too scared to say anything. I still haven't told my mom to this day what's been happening.
Hi, my name is Loretta Smith. I live in Colusa, California, and I am a recovering alcoholic.
When did you first accept the fact that you were addicted to alcohol?
I would say the year of 2004.
Okay, how did it make you feel knowing that you were an alcoholic?
It made me feel very worthless, angry, and very depressed.
What was the effect your addiction had on your children?
It got to the point where my children didn't want to talk to me, didn't want to be around me.
Okay. Did you ever catch your children drinking your alcohol?
Yeah, I've seen them, yes.
How did your addiction affect the relationship you had with your children?
Well, it wasn't good for many, many years until just, I would say this past year. It's been totally awesome.
Okay.
But I think they had to get rid of the anger and the resentment they felt towards me. And also being, how do you say, from a divorced family, you know, their father and I divorced in '07. So that was another addition to their anger.
Did you ever black out or have nights that you were so under the influence that you could not remember?
Probably 2 or 3 times, yeah.
When you saw the effect of your addiction on your children, did you change?
The first time in 2004, yes, I changed for them. But then I started drinking again. I had a relapse in 2007. And then I recently, a year ago, got sober, and relationship and everything is just totally awesome. So it's taken years and years of working on my mistakes.
What was the final straw that made you want to change for better?
When my doctor told me if I don't stop drinking, I was going to die.
Is anything in the world that could cause you to relapse and start your addiction again?
No.
What is a piece of advice you have, if any, for a parent who is struggling with alcohol?
Stop drinking. Because it's not worth losing your relationship with your children.